Okay, just to recap, I am working on in Photoshop and looking at creating a mock-up, a wireframe of the website that I want to build. Right now I have a canvas open, a page open. If we come and we can check the image size, and it is 1600 by 1200. The resolution is 72, and that's what I want it to be. Also, I would want it to be in RGB mode. I know it's in RGB because of right in here. I'm set up to work on the web. So if I wanted to do that again, I'd go File, New, and I would just make sure that my color mode was at RGB. All right. So what I want to look at in this video are what are some of the most common windows that you'll be working with when you're designing with the web. And what we can do, we can come on over onto Photoshop, and we have all these different workspaces. Now, in CS6 there is not a web workspace, but we're going to create one. I'm going to show you some of the tools and windows that you're going to want to work with the most. The first one, of course, will be your layers. So we open. What we're going to do as we work in Photoshop is we'll find ourselves, I'm going to close up these brushes, we'll find ourselves really going in. History is always a good one just because it is. We'll find ourselves coming in and laying everything out in layers. And you'll see that in some of these videos that I'm doing. Another really important one that we'll want to work with will be the path, so we can draw different shapes. Now I'm going to take this paths window, and I can take it and I can drop it right in. Actually, I'll take it and drop it right beside, because I want it to be in there with those three, so I can click and see what I'm doing. Another really important window, of course, will be the colors, the swatches. So we come on in, we open up our swatches. Now, as we work with our swatches though, we want to know that there are some colors that are web safe colors and some colors that are not. So let's make our color swatches web colors. I would do this by clicking over and coming on down and going to, we could do web safe colors, or we can even do the web spectrum, which will get some more colors if we do that. Now we have the choice of append or OK. If we hit append, it will just add it to what we have. But let's hit OK. Let's have it replace it with what's here. So now these are all web colors. Now what's really great about this too is when we hover over them, a lot of times we can get the numbers for the color. So, but let's see, can we do that? All right, so I'm not going to worry so much about that right now. But when we work with CSS, we're going to want to get those numbers. Let's just take a quick look at the difference between web safe colors. We'll say okay, and there we have it. Same kind of thing, a little bit different the way that it's organized. I'm going to go back and add the web spectrum, and we'll just hit OK, and there we have it. Now another important window that we'll want will be the character and the paragraph. The character and the paragraph styles are where our text is. Now what we can see right here is this is actually our doc, okay, and we can see that we have the paragraph and the characters, and I can close them. I can click this little arrow right there, and they go right into my doc. As I hover over, I can see I have the character, I have the paragraph. And we have, it's new in CS6, are the paragraph styles, and we also have the character styles. Let's open up the character styles. I thought that would be there, but there it is. We'll put it over into our doc as well. We'll drag it on over. Sometimes, there we go. And now we have that. Now, the character styles and the paragraph styles. Let's actually take a look at what we can do with some of these. All right, so I can begin. I can say, all right, I'm going to start designing my header. I could come on in, grab my rectangular marquee tool. I could click, and I have it at a fixed size here, but maybe I want to say, okay, I want this to be 1200 pixels across, and I want it to be 100 pixels, 80 pixels below. I'd say okay. Now what I want to do though is I want to deselect this. I'm going to deselect. which is select, deselect. And what I want to do, everything that I do, I want to do in a new layer. So if I'm creating a header, I'm going to click right in here and I'm going to click onto this guy. The size I just created is loaded in. I can click. This could be my header. I could put it more towards the center if I'd like to. I can come on up, edit, fill, and I could say I want to choose a color. Again, only web colors. So I could click on to this. Now, this number right down here is the 6-letter number hex number, which is an important thing to have and to use. So I'm going to come on in. Let me find the color I like. Okay. Okay. There we have it. Deselect. All right. So now we could say, we have the beginning of our header. All right, now I'm going to put the type in the header. So again, I want to create a new layer for this as well. But the good thing is whenever we work with type, it will automatically go to a new layer. So when we come in and we work with the type, we could click on right to type, and watch what happens when I click onto here. See how automatically it comes to a new one, and I could put the word header in here. Now, let's say I want to change the color. Well, I can come right up onto here. Change the color to white. Okay. Maybe I want to change the font. Or whatever it is that I would like to do to that. There it is. Might want to move this over. Another really great thing to do is you can actually pull out guides. If you have your rulers turned on, you can come to Window, Rulers, View. You can turn on rulers. My rulers are turned on. If your rulers are turned off, you're going to come View, Rulers, turn your rulers on. I could come in and say, okay, I want this to line up at 2 inches. I could click onto here. I could then take this, move this over, click this, pull this one over. Okay, I could also come over and say, okay, I want this one to end 2 inches in. So right now it's at 22.22. I come on in to 20. I could put that just like this. Now, let's say I wanted to make this one a little bit bigger. Well, I could do that too. I could transform it, and I would come to Edit, Free Transform, and I could come in and I could make this image a little bit bigger, and I can see that the width and the height, that I'm getting a little bit of different information from the width and from the height. I'm going to apply, so I'm lining this all up. Now, let's say that I wanted to now come in and, maybe I'll make this the container underneath. Well, I could do that as well. And I could come on in here and maybe just come in and use these as my guides. Now that's the fixed size that's in there. So I'm going to change this and just put normal. And I could come on in and, create, maybe this would be like the about section. Maybe I'll put a fill in this just so I can see that something is there. And I'm just going to actually, for the fill, just for now, I'm just going to go for more of like a grayish. I'll go for a lighter color of that. I'll deselect. Now I want to show you something too. I'm going to make this about. Oh, but I almost forgot. I would need a nav bar, right? Okay, so I'll put this down a little bit here. And let's come on in and let's create a nav bar. So what I can do when I'm doing a mock-up on the web is I can, in Photoshop, I can just start drawing all of these different boxes that I want. Again, I can come in, edit, fill. I'm just going to use the same color that I have, edit, fill, deselect. I can grab my type and move this over. But let's actually come for a minute and see. And actually, I made my mistake here because I forgot that I want this to be on its own layer. So I'm going to go back into my history, and this will happen to you quite a bit, and I will deselect. And I want to put everything in its own layer. That will be our workflow as we design in Photoshop. So I'm going to name this nav bar. Click. I can come on in, click onto this. I can come in, move this over, edit, fill. Okay. All right, so let's actually take a look. Now this is on its own layer, which I want because I want to be able to move these around a little bit if I need to. All right, so if we were to look at the nav bar and we were to come in right now, we could put some of the words. Let's grab our T for type and let's come and let's click. Now, but as we go continue to do that, I'm going to close these swatches for a minute. I want to actually look at this dock. All right, but before I go any further, because I'm jumping from thing to thing, let's say I like these different tools here. I can save this as a workspace. While I do that is I click on, as I come on up into here, and I say new workspace, and I can name this web design, or I could just web, whatever you'd like. And now I can see if I want to reset this and go back to this, it'll be easy for me to do that. I can come on in, grab the T for type again, I can click. I'm going to change it. Maybe this time I'll use journal. Why not? And maybe I'll change the size a little bit, and maybe I'll make it like 36. Now also, if we come on in, let's take a look at what these windows look like. The character window, all of this is there. The character window and the paragraph window, a lot of times they are right there together. So I could click and I could say, you know, maybe this is about. If I want to make this bigger, I definitely do. I'm going to put this up. Let's go to 48. Okay, and we'll click. And it almost feels like, ooh, it needs almost to be bold or something, right? Maybe it's the color behind it that is making it difficult. Maybe we'll actually even look at changing the color. What would it look like? Would it work better if it was black? Maybe it does. All right, so now there we can see it. We can see we have a bunch of different things too. If we wanted to, we could take this about right here and we could work with the amount of space between the words, the tracking, okay? We could also come in and just work with the space between two characters. So if I wanted to do that, I could come right in here and that would be the kerning, and you know, I could just start moving that apart too. So there's a lot of different things that we can do within here. All right, so let me come back. Again, your history is a great tool to come in and to go back a little bit. I don't want to do that. There we go. We'll make it go apart a little bit. Now let's say that we like what we did here and we want to take what we did here and we want to apply it to the other letters in the nav bar. Well, it's actually really easy to do. Let's take this, let's select it, and this is a character. Let's set this as a character style. So I can come in and I can say character style, and I can add this. And I do that by saying create new character style, and I could give it a name. I'm going to say nav bar, and I can see it saying, okay, it's 48 points. This is setting it at 120. Font is journal, font style is regular, and we'll say okay. All right, so now let's come on in and let's start working on our next one. So we come and we say about, portfolio, that would be our second one. Now if I click onto this and I want to apply the character style, first of all, let me select it. So I'll come on in, hold on. I'll grab the T for type, I'll come in, I'll triple click, and then I want to apply this. All right, so what I can see here is actually that the word portfolio, it already has this applied to it. Okay, so you come in and just put this in, but let's say that I'm working with the type down in a different area. I could also come in and put the header, make this also a character style. So I could double click this, come on in and decide, all right, this is also a new character style. And this one is going to be what's used in the header. I'll say okay. All right, so what I could do now is if I come on down in here and I wanted to write about, I could very easily apply the header to this by coming in and clicking to create it. All right, so I got a little bit confused. What was happening is I had done the about and I couldn't see it, and that was because it was below the other layer. So we need to make sure that in order to see it, it is above in the layer order. So here is the word about, and I created a character style of this, so it would be very easy for me to change this. If I wanted it to be like the nav bar, I could click this and it changes. If I wanted it to be like the header, I could click that and it changes. Even if I came on into the header and I wanted to change the header so the header was like the nav bar, I could do that as well. Okay, so it's very easy, you know, to change things up. And we'll find a lot of times as we're working on the web that we're going to want to be able to do that. We're going to want to be able to have this already pre-built thing that makes it very easy to come in and create really strong visual consistency. So I'll end there. What I went over just to recap in this video was the different windows that you're going to use, creating up a workspace, and went over a little bit focusing more on the character styles. Text will be a big thing that you will use. I'll do a video a little bit later on paragraph styles, organizing your text that you put together. Thanks so much.